Earlier this year, the Trenton Urban Enterprise Zone Program, the UEZ, launched a proactive retail recruitment effort to help bring new stores, restaurants, and shoppers back to downtown Trenton. Our firm, the JGSC Group, was selected to create and implement the recruitment effort. Our work began about 6 months ago, and we'd like to share with you what we've learned so far and where we think we're heading. In case you haven't heard, there's a lot happening in downtown, uh, much more than we expected to find. There are new stores and restaurants and other businesses opening, especially along Warren Street. And right now, there are 650 new condos, townhouses, and apartments under development in downtown, with another 600 expected by 2028, according to a downtown Trenton residential study conducted 2 years ago. When those new homes are finally built, they would grow downtown's population by 10%, adding another 3,375 new consumers to the downtown area. And in fact, it would grow the whole city's population by 4%. That's how much development is coming here. Meanwhile, the UEZ continues to field a steady stream of inquiries about acquiring properties or opening businesses in the downtown. These are all good, really good economic indicators. Our analysis looked at both the local and the regional economies, but our property review, our physical review of properties, focused on the 42 properties located along East State Street from Warren to Montgomery. To be successful, our retail recruitment effort must address each of these three core components. We have to have a sufficient supply of available properties in retail-ready condition. We have to proactively recruit merchants within the desired retail categories, and we have to know who our customers are, where they come from, what they want, what they like, don't like, and what we can do to help bring them downtown more often.
To meet the growth in retail spending, downtown needs more stores and restaurants. That's why we're looking for retail-ready properties. We reviewed 42 properties on East State Street for their current uses and physical conditions. We found that more than half of the properties are vacant and generally neglected. Some have been vacant for more than a decade, and others are not properly secured. Of the 42 properties, 23 have upper floors that are unused, but they could be converted to residential. That's important because each new household would grow retail demand by another $42,700 per year.
We learned in looking at these that 13 of the 42 properties have potential for retail use. We believe that within those 13, there are 25 possible retail spaces. Half of those spaces are in the Capitol Center and the Broad Street Bank building, so there are clusters of them. We're meeting with property owners now to discuss recruitment and available incentives, and we're trying to help them get their properties in retail-ready condition and help them find tenants for them. We also found 27 properties that are in need of some form of rehabilitation or perhaps, redevelopment. We found at least 5 different redevelopment opportunities just by looking at the parcels and so on and so forth. And we did not take into consideration whether multiple owners would want to do this or whether any of the property owners would do it. But it is important to note that more than half of the properties in this quarter need to either be rehabilitated or redeveloped before they can be used. We're reaching out, as we said, to the property owners, but we also have implemented a carrot and a stick approach, which means that the people who respond to us will make sure that they're aware of the incentives and inducements that are available to help them either get their properties recruited, leased out, or to get them rehabilitated. But if you ignore our efforts, we cannot afford to have people simply allow their buildings to decay along our retail corridors. So we'll take whatever legal action we can in terms of reporting them to code enforcement or any of those sorts of things to try and get them to be more responsible. In addition to reviewing properties, we also interviewed and surveyed over 1,000 downtown consumers. Dozens of stakeholders, property owners, and merchants met with us and shared their experiences, their thoughts, and their insights. We promoted our survey throughout downtown, and 989 consumers took the time to complete the survey and tell us what they like and dislike most about town. That survey, incidentally, because the margin or because the audience is so large, it has about a 3.2% margin of error. So it's pretty good data, and we're very comfortable with it. We combined what we heard from everyone with demographic, economic, and consumer spending data for your trade area. Hearing from so many consumers helped us to create a strategy to bring new stores, restaurants, and shoppers here. This is your downtown. That's a 1-mile radius from the intersection of Broad and State Street. There are an awful lot of consumers there. In addition to nearly 34,000 residents, there are another 40,000 downtown workers. The residents have household incomes of about 69,000 and the workers have household incomes of about 12,000. The population in downtown has increased 9% in the last 5 years, and during the same time, home values have increased by over 50%. We also mentioned the 3,300 new residents that are coming downtown. As we said, there's 1,270 new households. It will increase downtown's population by 10%, but it will also bring significant new spending. We anticipate about $54 million a year in new retail spending once those homes are occupied. Downtown also has a very strong consumer spending situation. Downtown, and if you look at these numbers, downtown's residents, the residents within 1 mile of downtown, they spend about $184 million a year. But the 40,000 workers who come here, of whom 29,000 are office workers, of those, they spend $168 million a year just while they're in downtown. They go to the pharmacy or the dry cleaner, or they have lunch, or they have dinner, or any number of things. That's $352 million worth of consumer spending in that 1 square mile, and that is really significant. Overall, downtown has a large and growing consumer base. It has strong consumer demand, and it has rising home values. Again, this map shows you where the customers are coming from. The customers who come downtown, you can see the 1 mile radius, that's downtown. About 2/3 of them are coming from within this 3 mile radius. There are 2 distinct audiences that we found here. We found one audience, which are people who come here to work. As we said before, there's 40,000 of them. They average 46 years of age, $112,000 in income, and they're about 45% white, 38% black. Then there's a second group. Those are people who told us that regardless of whether they live here or work here, these are people who are coming downtown primarily to shop and dine. They're a little older, 49 years on average. Their household income's $97,000 a year, which is higher than the residents, but not quite as high as the workers. Still, it's a good, solid income. And that group's about 47% Black and 32% white. Here are some things that we found that really distinguishes them. People who work here, 82% of them drive downtown. People who shop and dine here, only 71% of them drive here. And people who work here are more adept at finding parking than people who come here now and again. And we also found that there's a large untapped audience amongst our existing consumers. Right now, only 47%, fewer than half of all people who work here, have ever gone out to dine here. So there's a large untapped, significant untapped audience segment there. And you'll remember earlier we said we wanted to find out, what we could do to bring them downtown more often. They told us we simply don't have enough stores here. We don't have enough restaurants. But if we build more, 83% of these people, this group said, they will definitely come downtown more often. 2/3 of the workers said that. So bringing customers downtown theoretically should be easy. Ask them what they want, give it to them. We did that through the survey of the 989 consumers, and here's what they told us. They want bakeries, coffee shops, farm markets. They want more dining. They want more takeout dining. They want brew pubs and taverns. And they'd like specialty gourmet foods. But more than that, they also want outdoor events and activities. They also want clubs with live entertainment, and they want outdoor and sidewalk dining. Does it sound too good to be true? Not really. We'll take them on and we'll begin trying to recruit businesses within each of these categories. We'll work with the city to see what we can do to help coordinate more outdoor events and activities downtown. And we'll look at opportunities to create outdoor dining because all of that gives the neighborhood a sense of life and a sense of activity.
We asked 1,000 consumers what keeps them from visiting downtown more. Turns out it's not crime. The map in the lower left-hand corner is from a CrimeCast report published by Cap Index. It measures crime risk, the forecasted likelihood of crime occurring based on crime history and socioeconomic factors. They range from very low in green to very high in red. And as you can see, downtown is largely shown in shades of green and shades of light pink. So criminal risk factors are very low. So what is it that is keeping them away, preventing them from shopping in the downtown more? Well, there are top 5 ways that consumers told us if we would change these things, they would shop more often. First, they want better quality and a better selection of merchandise. Next, they want a greater variety and a greater number of places to eat. Next, they argue that there's nothing to do downtown. There are no events, no activities. Give them a reason to come down to be entertained. Next, they also complain that the storefronts downtown are unappealing. They need to see a better looking downtown. Finally, they complain that it's difficult to find parking. And that's for a variety of different reasons, from not knowing where it is, not knowing how to find it, to not being willing to park in parking decks. The good news is we can resolve all of these issues, and we can do most of it quickly. There are 6 major steps to implementing this program. First, we want to tell the Trenton story, and that story is that there is a large and growing consumer base with higher income levels in Trenton. There is significant untapped consumer demand that we can reach. And there are opportunities for property owners and business owners, including grants from the Urban Enterprise Zone Authority, and from several other agencies that are going to be collaborating with the UEZ to make all of this happen. And who do we tell? Well, stakeholders, colleagues, business and property owners, bankers, brokers, commercial prospects, and soon we'll reach out to consumers as well. And we've already started this process. Next, we want to get the available spaces retail ready. We need to enroll current commercial property owners into this process by a carrot and stick method, as we described earlier. Either they come on board attracted by the incentives of the carrots that we have to offer, or we use the stick of property maintenance and property enforcement to get them to bring their properties up to code standards. We'll address all visible issues, and that's a process that could take time, but is certainly necessary in order to make consumers feel better about shopping in downtown. Next, we'll try to get commercial property owners to agree to appropriate pricing and terms so that it'll be easier to attract new merchants into the downtown. Currently, available retail-ready spaces are being offered at prices from $9 a square foot on up to $22 a square foot, a pretty broad range. Some of them offering fit out, some that don't. We need to make sure that the price demands of the commercial property owners are reasonable, matching the market and the consumer base. Step 3 is that we reactivate those vacant buildings. Again, the carrot and stick program would come in handy to enroll property owners. We're going to refresh and brighten eye-level spaces. If necessary, we'll use barricade signage, a covering that would go over the front of the store that would perhaps show us images of the type of store we'd like to have in that space while we're waiting for deals to be concluded for it. Next, we want to restore upper floor residential uses and try to get those residential floors occupied with new residents. We also want to explore options for rehabilitation, sale, redevelopment, etc. That's all longer term. And believe me, there are many fascinating redevelopment opportunities in downtown Trenton that we could use to attract new residential units to be built and new retail spaces for new merchants. 4, we want to start a perpetual recruitment program. The downtown needs to be recruiting new retailers all the time because there actually is a perpetual turnover. Some merchants go out of business, other merchants retire, other merchants develop health problems, and you always have to be ready for bringing in the next business to fill vacancies as they occur. You want to be able to target prospects by retail category. You want to also do some supportive events that will drum up foot traffic in the downtown while we're trying to build up new commercial tenants. So a farmer's market or other type of public market in the downtown would do well to attract new foot traffic. We do have 21 bakery prospects right now and are working on contacting them as soon as we can confirm an appropriate space suitable for a new bakery downtown. It will be necessary to be proactive and to keep it going all the time, be perpetual. Recruitment works best by consistently applying minimal effort. Our long-term goal is to recruit new stores in advance of vacancies occurring. Then step 5 is to remove obstacles that turn away consumers. We want to teach our merchants to offer a better quality of merchandise and a wider selection of goods. We want to train them to enhance their merchanting skills as well as their crime prevention through environmental design, CPTED skills. We want to add more places to eat and drink. That could take 12 to 18 months to get a new restaurant into a properly fitted out space. We want to bring the downtown to life by hosting community events and activities. And of course, enhancing storefronts throughout the UEZ is going to be a constant effort to bring bring businesses up to a design standard that they'll be encouraged to apply, not something that is dogmatic and required of every business, a fixed style, but rather a range of compatible styles for them to choose from to give the downtown a harmonious, appealing look. And so, those are the 6 methods. There are a lot of ways that we could work together to do some things to advance those goals. Here are some projects that we've identified already that we'd like to work on. Number 1, fixing parking. You may have noticed that there have already been directional signs that were installed through funding from the UEZ and the help of the city that guide people to the parking garages downtown. There's so much more we'd like to do. We'd love to add lighted signs at the garages so they're easier to find at night. We'd love to enable the use of office-used parking garages that are only available to office users during the day, make them available to the public at night. We'd like to work on a path to more effective parking enforcement that is not so rigid and yet still effective at making sure parking is available according to regulations. We're interested in stimulating more events and activities. We want to get more people to try out coming into downtown Trenton. And while they are there for whatever the event may be, whether it's a farm market or some sort of musical event, that they discover all of the stores and restaurants that we hope to bring in soon to add to what is already there. So we have a number of activities listed there as to how we can build those activities. Next, we want to provide training for merchants to help them do better business, to help them market themselves better through assistance and funding from UEZ, and to also help them provide a more secure space for shoppers to shop in. We'll be giving them CPTED training, that stands for Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design, ways to make it look and feel safer. We're also hoping to create a display window program that will encourage volunteers to come in and create great window displays on a seasonal basis in participating stores. Next, the aesthetics that were so important to the people who took our survey and told us they want the downtown to look better. We want to invest in projects that will do that. And by the way, the UEZ has already landed a $3 million grant from the Urban Enterprise Zone Authority that will help to repair sidewalks throughout the Urban Enterprise Zone, all throughout the downtown. Next, we want to recruit public market. We're really focused on getting a farmer's market now. Ideally, we want to locate it within the downtown itself instead of outside of it, so that any people who are attracted to come and use the farm market will have to walk by the stores and restaurants and boost some business for them. We also want to recruit a bakery. We've identified spaces. We've created a list of prospects, other bakery owners that we're interested in getting them to operate a satellite in the downtown. Now we need to work on enrolling interested property owners who have available spaces that could be outfitted to host a bakery. Finally, we want to create a perpetual recruitment program. Business recruitment isn't something that you do one time and then you're done. This is something that has to happen all the time because stores are being vacated for a variety of reasons all the time. Businesses will close, people retire, people have health issues, and you need to prepare for that. You need to anticipate when a space is going to become vacant, and you need to have several prospects ready and willing to jump into the vacant space. And by more proactively managing that, we can make that happen. So there's a lot to do. We hope that you are as excited as we are and that you'd like to help us. Thanks for watching this video, and please check out our other program links here on the UEZ website. Thank you.